Hi, Doctor. You'd said when God saw that it was good, you read that as potentially, well, it might be better than nothing. And the story in Genesis, it's bracketed by days, which aren't necessarily literal days, yom, the original word, but it's also bracketed by, and he saw it was good, at the end of the day. So my question is there something more profoundly happening there between this profundity of speaking into existence, the way, the start is, to this observation, this seeing that it's good? And is God modeling consciousness? Is there a little more there for us to grapple with?
Okay, so more for us to grapple with in what way?
In the sense that we have this insight of speaking things forth, but you'd also commented on consciousness as until something's observed, or until it's seen. So when God sees that creation was good, is there kind of this bracketing between the bringing forth through through the word, through Jesus?
Okay, that's good. I see what you mean. Okay, well, I think what that is that okay, so it's perfectly reasonable from an archetypal and psychological perspective to consider the idea of the word equivalent to the spoken truth. I mean, Christ makes that claim in the New Testament, that he's the truth, right? And embodied. And so then logically you can derive from that the idea that if things are spoken into being through truth, then they're good. And so yeah, I think that association exists. And I think I also think that's in some sense the deepest claim of faith. I believe that because I think you have to make a decision in your life, as far as I can tell, and I think Kierkegaard knew this more clearly than anyone else I've ever read, and that is that if being is good, then an honest relationship with being also has to be good. And then if you have an honest relationship with being, then you're going to speak the truth. And then I think what you have to decide is that if you speak the truth, then what happens is good, regardless of what happens. And that's the rub of faith, and I think that's something that Kierkegaard wrestled with, And I'm trying to think if I can provide an example about that, and easily and quickly. Well, I guess it's partly because you can live your life two ways. You can use your language to manipulate. You can use your language as a tool to get what you want. But the problem with that is that assumes that you know what you want and that you're right. And that's a problem because there's lots of things you don't know. And if you get what you want, you may find A, that you didn't really want it, and B, that you're not the person that started the journey towards that. That happens a lot to people, especially when they use their language in a manipulative way. And so the alternative seems to be, and I think this is one of the lessons, for example, that's laid out in the movie Pinocchio, which happens to be a kind of archetypal favorite of mine, is that part of the act of faith, let's say, and I wouldn't say Christian faith necessarily, I would say faith in being itself is the decision. It's like the decision that God is good. The decision is, there's no better way to bring better being into being than to speak the truth. And I do think that's echoed. I think that's a very wise observation. I think that's echoed in that first story. First of all, the act of speech, and second, the observation that the consequence was good. So yeah.
Thank you.